Good morning, all of you. My name is Pankaj Kumar. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to make a presentation on socio-hydrology and integrated approach to achieve robust water resource management and human well-being in large riverine island. I'm working as a research manager in the field of adaptation and water resources in Institute for Global Environmental Strategy, Japan, as well as I'm heading one department called IPBES Technical Support Unit on Scenarios and Models. Looking into the background, first of all, I'm showing the geographical distribution of current water scarcity and level of challenges for policy addressing future changes. This is the most updated results in the scientific community where it is shown that around the globe, number of months per year where water scarcity is there. If you see even countries with abundant water resources, if you are looking into the temporal scale, many of the countries are facing water scarcity in various months of the year. And looking into the below graph, it is showing the local level of policy challenges for addressing water scarcity. So in the overall message, what we wanted to say that average per capita water availability is sufficient enough, but because of the spatio-temporal asymmetry is great, which is a matter of concern for policymaker. Looking into the graphs on the right hand side, if you can see that 9 elements are there, which is showing the safe operating space for the earth, and out of the 9 elements, 6 already breaching the safe operating limit and 3 are still in the safe zone. But looking into the freshwater element, we can see that this planetary boundary still did not breach the extreme level. So it means that still we have plenty of time. If we work on timely basis or judiciously, then we can save this precious resource. Looking into the rivers in Asian regions, when we are looking into different environmental challenges, we have for this presentation I'm mainly focusing on 3 drivers, that is climate change, population growth, land use, land cover change, and the fourth one is the adaptation and mitigation measure in order to make these water resources sustainable in nature in the future course of time. So this is more on the adaptation and mitigation measures. Because of these environmental challenges, we have it results into extreme weather condition, whether it's flooding or drought, or we have pollution in severe pollution in many of the Asian countries because of the poor governance. As a result, the local community become vulnerable, means it cannot cope up with the current severe such situation. Rivers as geological features playing a key role in shaping histories, culture, society, and economy. However, in lieu of a triple planetary crisis and land degradation, river environment are under extreme pressures, which affects overall human well-being as well. Because of the complex nature of water resource management, it requires integrated water resource management and a holistic view. Uh, we do have different approaches, but I'm going to show here what nexus approach, how nexus approach can be applied in order to cater both water resource management as well as human well-being. Looking into the socio-hydrology, which is a newer concept now, although the concept is there, but the quantification is still missing in the scientific communities. So for this project, we have taken riverine island as a case study. Why? Because riverine islands are a huge productive zone, very prone to hydrometeorological hazards, frequent extreme weather condition, densely populated area, and extreme effect of the community on the community because of their poor adaptive capacity, limited resources, infrastructure, as well as institutional setup. So the objective is how socio-hydrological approach can help to design possible adaptation and mitigation measures for positively enhancing the relationship between water resource and human well-being. This is the diagram we have proposed in this proposal, in this project, where when we are looking into the water security, in order to achieve water security at a particular region, we have to consider 5 different elements, that is water demand and availability, socio-cultural responses, political and institutional setup, disaster preparedness, water land productive management. So once we achieve these 5 elements, sustainable management of these 5 elements, we can achieve hydrological resource management. However, if we wanted to cope up with both human well-being as well as a robust water resource management, we need to link it with different micro or as well as macro factors. Say, for example, which are it's sensitive to what? Say, for example, ecosystem services, climate regime, micro scale as well as micro scale. Then only we will be able to achieve water resource management and its associated human well-being. And how to implement this one, as you know that PDCA cycle is there, but unless we implement each cycle, each step citizens perspective, then only we will be able to achieve the real meaning of socio-hydrology. Say, for example, monitor and review, monitor progress for the desired goals, methodological revision for retrofitting models, where citizens perspective are important. Again, when we are gathering the information for its implementation or choosing the impact risk assessment, every in each of the steps citizens perspective are very much important to co-deliver and co-production of the results in the holistic management. So what after implementing how we implemented the socio-hydrology in our case studies, we have taken two different approaches. For the hydrological component, we have taken IWRM approach. IWRM stands for Integrated Water Resource Management Tools, where these models, specifically I have used WEEP model, that is water evaluation and planning model. It has different component on hydrology component as well as different socio-economic component. So when we integrate both together, then we will be able to achieve different how different elements are interacting in the nature. So you can see the flow chart. Socio-economic data we have taken like census data, fisheries data, literacy rate, income status, collection and proper organization. For the hydrological component, as the traditional hydrological model, we have taken hydrometeorological data collection and proper organization, and then water quality data, river cross section and all. When we integrated both of them, then we were able to generate different scenarios, and it was able to estimate the water demand and unmet demand in the respective different sites and generate different scenarios for possible designing of possible policy planning. And finally, we were able to understand the socio-economic status and future prediction of vulnerability under hydrological context. So this is the one of the example I'm showing. In the study area, we have calculated the sub-administrative level relative ranking of risk and vulnerability for Sagar Island in India, where we have taken different determinants, say for example, exposure, hazard, sensitivity, and adaptive capacity. And finally, we did some modeling exercises on that, and we were able to predict vulnerability index as well as risk indexes. And what we wanted to achieve in the socio-hydrology and showing some results. First of all, we have gone for both modeling as well as qualitative approach. Using the qualitative and quantitative approach, when we have integrated, we came out with the pictures. Say, for example, when we are looking into the modeling result, this is the modeling result showing the water budget for different zones. I'm showing the result for one of the study area in India, although we have three countries, but because of the time constraint, I'm just showing the result from India itself. So you can see that zone 1, 2 and 3, how water demand will be increasing in due course of time, and because of that how much unmet demand will be there and what we need to do in order to cater this unmet demand. So looking into the total in the nut and shell, what is the main outcome of this result? You can see that because of the climate change and environmental changes, temperature is increasing. Because of that, quantitative and qualitative degradation, stored pond water is happening, and because of the inconsistent precipitation, there is a change in surface runoff, and groundwater level is depleting, groundwater recharge is depleting. However, on the other hand, because of the increasing population, groundwater extraction is increasing, human settlement area is increasing, population density is increasing, land use land cover is altering, and because of the land use land cover changes is happening, agricultural land area is reducing in nature. Because of that, there is unmet demand in food food and water security is happening. But because of on the other hand, we are facing soil salinity, seawater intrusion, crop production rate will be higher. As a result, the profit per hectare will be reducing, and farmers association or farmers community will be having financial hardship. As a result, they will be forced to migrate to the urban industrial area for more income. As a result, they will be facing more both health hazard, like mental hazard, as well as occupation shift will be there. So this is the overall schematic diagram showing the current picture in three different riverine island which I have chosen for my study area. But on the other hand, I'm also trying to see how this migration is happening. In one of the area, I'm showing this result from Bangladesh, where two different districts nearby located in the south western coast of Bangladesh in Khulna district. We have selected like 16 different villages, and the result shows that although in one of the villages where people are forced to migrate to the neighboring areas, in the other villages or other district, it was very surprising to see that people, despite being vulnerable to the hydrometeorological hazards, they are not migrating to the other slum area. The reason behind, we found that there is social bounding, and because of that social culture and enjoying the social bounding, people are reluctant to move to the slum area despite having more facilities for social welfare as well as education and other welfare provided by the local government. People tend to stay in the same area, and they think that the social connection between the neighborhood is more important than enjoying the social welfare in the slum areas. So the key takeaway from this project was a holistic approach, first of its kind in this region, strive to address crucial hydrological queries regarding human nature interaction, along with socio-economic capacities, institutional policy related issues in riverine island. It is evident that triple planetary crisis with land degradation results in water insecurity. Since water is the limiting factor to socio-economic growth, it leads to a series of cascading effects like changes in the livelihood, financial hardship, mental health, occupation shift, migration, and loss of self-esteem, it's etc. Socio-hydrology approach, which is a holistic approach and which is pretty new in Asian region, was successfully applied to explore the nexus of human-water relation at different scale in three different case studies under socio-economic and environmental condition, which were further applied to improve adaptive measure to manage local water needs while mitigating undesirable changes to the hydrological cycle. The result shows that both top-down and bottom-up approach, stakeholder participation, citizen science, diligent data monitoring, data sharing, numerical simulation with retrofitting approach where all the stakeholder have a say to the data we are using for the models to answer possible what if questions for designing various policy measures are the key ingredient for achieving water security and human well-being. The research outcome helpful to sketch projection of alternative that explicitly account for projecting the evolving trajectory of socio-hydrological system, which will yield both insight into cause-effect relationship and help a stakeholder to identify safe functioning space. In the last slide, I'm showing the number of papers, peer-reviewed journal article being published through this project. As of now, we have three different output. One is on the policy output, established great collaboration in these three countries, generated enough robust scientific data to help policy design, policy decision makers. Scientific outcome, significant outcome in terms of publication. We have already published peer-reviewed journal article, 13 journal articles, 2 book chapters, and 1 conference proceeding. In terms of capacity buildings, we already provided hands-on training on socio-hydrological approach, and some of the necessary model and tool were provided to around 40 people from these countries. So I am very much grateful to the for the support provided by APN under this project, and thank you so much for your time.